Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing one of the most important concepts in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technical analysis. And I'm going to be showing you the only real reason that Bitcoin has been falling here for the last 6 months. Bold claim, I know. But guys, it's true. And actually, some of you guys might consider what we're about to talk about somewhat basic, but as an experienced cryptocurrency and Bitcoin technical analyst and trader, I've been working in these markets literally for over 2 years now. I still oftentimes find myself forgetting this important foundational concept. It's important that we're aware of it and reminded of it. So this is going to be an important video, so, listen up. Guys, I think you're going to get a lot of value out of today's video. It's going to help you to understand the cryptocurrency markets, why we're moving the way that we are, and where we're going in the future, how a reversal in Bitcoin is going to be found. All of these concepts are going to be shed light upon in today's video. So if you guys do enjoy today's video, the like button down below is just begging for a little bit of attention. It's been getting kind of lonely lately. And also, guys, my overlords at YouTube told me that if we fail to hit 30,000 subscribers by the end of this year, I'm going to be forced to watch YouTube Rewind on a 10-hour loop on live stream, and I really don't want to do that, guys. So please, for the love of God, help. But anyway, guys, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, it's important that we not only understand why Bitcoin has been in downtrend here for the last 6 months, but let's back the question up a little bit. Why did Bitcoin go into an uptrend in the first place? Now, yes, I hear you saying, but Jeb, look at all the technical reasons why Bitcoin went into an uptrend. You called the Bitcoin bull market based on X, Y, Z, A, B, C, and D technical indicator. And it's true, there's a lot of different reasons why Bitcoin went into a bull market here. Many of them were found out on the weekly chart, having to do with the RSI and different moving averages. For example, Bitcoin got above the 50 simple moving average on the weekly, got above the 20 weekly EMA. It bounced off the 200 WMA. Bitcoin got above the 50 level on the RSI. There were many different technical reasons why Bitcoin went into a bull market, but technical reasons are not actually what we're interested in here. Because technicals are great, but oftentimes they're confirming indicators. What caused the run-up and the exuberance and the jubilation that led to this rally in the first place? Well, that's a good question, because the factor that led to this rally is the exact same factor that led to the downtrend here in the last several months on Bitcoin. Let me show you something. Let's go ahead and jump on over to Cointelegraph here for a second. This right here, guys, is Cointelegraph. It's one of the most frequented news sites in the cryptocurrency space. You probably know about Cointelegraph. On Cointelegraph, right here, there's this little section called Hot Stories. Let's click it real quick and read what some of the hot stories are that are getting the most eyeballs as of late. Bitcoin price prediction, Bitcoin price prediction, Bitcoin price prediction, Bitcoin price prediction. Hey, look, news. Let's click this. Okay, 1 out of the 5 is an actual news story not having to do with Bitcoin's price. And what do we find? We find not a very exciting news story, to be quite honest with you. Out of the 5 stories that Cointelegraph curated to be the hot stories lately, 4 of them are Bitcoin price predictions and technical analysis, and 1 of them is a relatively boring news story. Okay, well, that's interesting. Let me jump over to an article by Investopedia that I found while I was researching for this video. This will be linked down below. You should read every single word of this. It's fantastic. Why do Bitcoins have value? Investopedia and many economists will break down a currency's value into 4 different categories: scarcity, divisibility, utility, and transferability. Scarcity is where the stock-to-flow ratio for Bitcoin comes in. Divisibility has to do with how many times you can divide it down. Of course, we can divide down to 8-digit places with Satoshis. That's very, very, very powerful on Bitcoin. So these two are not an issue. Bitcoin's very scarce. Bitcoin's very divisible. As far as transferability, it's relatively easy to transfer Bitcoin, except, there's a lot of things that are being built in the back end, like Lightning Network, and we're still working on optimizing the ability to use Bitcoin with, for example, recurring cryptocurrency payments, which is still a little ways off. There are things that we're working on with transferability that aren't quite there yet on Bitcoin, but the one that we need to talk about is utility. A currency must have utility in order to be effective. Individuals must be able to reliably trade units of the currency for goods and services. This is a primary reason why currencies developed in the first place, so that the participants in a market could avoid having to barter directly for goods. Utility also requires that currencies be easily moved from one location to another. Burdensome precious metals and commodities don't easily meet this stipulation. And this is the point of today's video, that utility argument. Everything I just read there sounds pretty good, actually. Bitcoin is easily transferable. It was designed to be a currency. Gold was not designed to be a currency. It was just kind of some rock we found in the ground and then called it currency. Bitcoin seems to have that utility nailed down, but this is where the fatal flaw for Bitcoin, at least right now, we're going to grow out of this. This is where the fatal flaw for Bitcoin comes in, and this is the entire point of today's video. Why do Bitcoin have value? They have value for a very specific reason. because people say they have value. Now hold on, don't click off the video. That sounds simple, but it's actually really not, and it's very important to Bitcoin and its market. Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies right now are worth about $200 billion in total market capitalization. Bitcoin itself is worth about $130 billion with about a 66% market dominance. The overwhelming majority of that market cap and that value comes not from utility. It does not come from people using Bitcoin to go to Subway and buy a Subway sandwich. Even though they can do that, the vast majority of the liquidity and the movement and the money and the valuation in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, it is not coming from people actually using the currency. The overwhelming majority of this money is coming from the number one word in this entire video: speculation. The entire reason why Bitcoin had this run-up in the early part of 2019, and the entire reason, again, that Bitcoin had this correction in the second half of 2019 comes down to that one word: speculation. Bitcoin did not rally here because everybody started using Bitcoin to go buy pizzas again. That's not why that happened. It started rallying because people started speculating that Bitcoin was going to go to 100K. And then when we went into this consolidation pattern and broke bearish here, everybody said, oh crap, not today. We're going to go ahead and sell our Bitcoin and wait for better skies, wait for greener pastures in the cryptocurrency market. The same thing that drove Bitcoin to the upside here, speculation of a high value Bitcoin, is the same thing driving Bitcoin to the downside over here, speculation of a low value Bitcoin and a better buying opportunity. Bitcoin is trading and is worth around $7,150 right now because if you were to take a poll of the entire market, most people agree that Bitcoin is worth around $7,000. People agree that Bitcoin is worth around $14,000 up here. The reason that Bitcoin has been correcting here for the last 6 months is not even necessarily because of technicals. And don't get me wrong, guys, technicals are extremely important. They're very important. You will never catch me dead saying that technical analysis doesn't work. I can show you 1,000 reasons why it does. But there's more to it than just that. That's why we try to cover fundamental analysis here on the channel as well. And one of the most important fundamentals on Bitcoin is the interest in the space. I've talked about this previously in videos, but I've never given it its own dedicated video, so I wanted to. There is not a lot of interest in the space right now, guys. Why are there no really interesting news stories going on Cointelegraph? And you might say, Jeb, wait a minute. There's this really cool thing going on. Does anyone else agree with you? Because if 10 people think something's really cool, those 10 people, unless they're huge whales, don't really have the potential to actually move the market. What matters is what the mass psychology of the market stipulates. And guys, stuff like that is where the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy comes in with mass psychology. That's what we're talking about here. Mass psychology and market sentiment. For those of you in the course, go watch both of those videos again. That's what we're discussing here. The market sentiment, the mass psychology of Bitcoin, both of those terms are slightly different, but they represent a similar thing. They represent the interest in the space. How much interest do people have in the space? How much do people think Bitcoin's about to go on a rally? What is the overall consensus of the important people in the market, the people with the positions, the people with the money to trade and buy and long and short or sell Bitcoin? What do they think? Because I'll tell you what a lot of them think. I think a lot of them believe that Bitcoin's going to come down to $6,500 or maybe even $6,000, and then they think it's going to bounce. But until we get everybody agreeing once again that a new rally is coming and that Bitcoin's about to bounce and go to the moon again, it's not going to happen. That's why these uptrends that we were trying to stage are so important, because they were tiny and they did not instill confidence in the bulls. And guys, there's no quarterly or monthly reports coming in on the first of every month telling us what the earnings report of Bitcoin is to drive the market up. This is not stocks. Bitcoin is not going to roll out the Tesla Cybertruck and then see its stock dump 6%. That's not how Bitcoin works. For the time being anyway, until we start to reach adoption and mass adoption, Bitcoin is based on speculation. And that's okay, guys, because speculation was what drove us to $20,000. But remember, speculation was also what drove us to $3,000. So it's a very important part of technical and fundamental analysis that people oftentimes forget. They chalk up analyzing the market to just technical analysis, and you need to understand that it's slightly more than that. So guys, what's the takeaway from this video? What can you walk away from this video with? One, keep in mind that the reason the market moves in the direction that it does has a lot to do with what's going on the news front. And not only the news front, it has a lot to do with what's going on inside of people's heads. If people see a very bullish technical indicator, they're going to get bullish, they're going to buy the market, and it's going to rally. If people see a very bullish news story like we saw over here in October with Xi Jinping stepping into the blockchain space, then they're going to get very bullish, it's going to rally the market. Technicals and news, or otherwise technicals and fundamentals, the only real reason they matter is because they shift the mindset of the investor. So remember that the mindset of the vast majority of people trading the market is what's important and what is moving the market. Remember that technicals and fundamentals don't actually have any power if no one's paying attention to them. If Bitcoin goes down and tests the 200 weekly SMA, but literally no one notices it and no one sees that, Bitcoin's not going to do anything around that simple moving average because no one's paying attention to it to treat it as support. It's all about the psychology of the market. So remember that for number one. And number two, guys, remember that Bitcoin will start a new uptrend when people believe that Bitcoin is going to start a new uptrend. And one of the easiest ways to tell what the market sentiment is to come to this website over here, Blockchain Whispers, that we talked about in yesterday's video, and look at how many people are long and short. Overall, people are more long because Bitfinex is being weird right now. But if you look at BitMEX, which is a much more accurate representation of the market, more people are short than they are long, even though Bitcoin is so close to what we're considering very strong support. If Bitcoin is going to start a new uptrend, people have to believe it's going to start a new uptrend, and until they do, it's not going to happen. So watch out for that. We're going to see a new uptrend when people believe it's going to happen. The few months leading up to the halving very well may be a good time for that to happen. But anyway, guys, I hope you did get some good value out of that video. If you did, like I said, please hit the subscribe button. I don't want to watch YouTube Rewind again. I don't think anyone would want to. And guys, before we wrap the video out, just really quickly, there's something I want to remind you of, and that is that human beings are very short-term creatures. We think on a very short-term basis. We think about what's going to happen today. Maybe if we're long-term focused, we think about what's going to happen this week. If you guys are a real type A personality, then maybe, just maybe, you're even thinking about what's going to happen this month. But the vast majority of people, in my experience, are very short-term focused, especially in the modern age where you can have literally anything that you want at the touch of a finger. I mean, I literally have so much just sitting within arm's reach of me at this desk. It's ridiculous. The amount of stuff on this desk and under this desk would have filled up an entire room 50 years ago. We have access to the entire wealth of information of the entire human species at our fingertips by going to Google. We can have just about anything we want to eat with a drive to Publix if you guys are in the South, or Walmart if you're not, or wherever you go shopping. And yes, you did see that right. I didn't buy this. Someone bought this for me. And because of that, guys, we've kind of been trained to want things now. We've kind of lost that 8-letter magic word, patience, and we've been trained to want instant gratification. We've been trained to say, oh, hey, I'm going to go and play this game, and in 2 hours of playing the game, I'm going to be at the top of the game. I'm going to be number one. And it's really interesting because there's been a lot of studies done on the concept of delayed gratification and the importance it has in business and life in general. And I'm tying this back to Bitcoin, I promise. Just give me a second. It's important that you understand that delayed gratification is honestly a superpower. If you're able to do something today with the expectation of it paying off a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you have a leg up over everyone else in the entire business. You apply that to as many facets of your business and your life as possible, and you're going to win at life. You're just going to. Because you'll have an advantage that makes you special compared to most of your competitors, and you're going to dominate them. And the same thing is true here in Bitcoin, guys. Look, Bitcoin is speculative right now. Bitcoin does not have a whole lot of actual intrinsic value from people using it in the everyday world. I think it has intrinsic value, but not underlying intrinsic value based on transactions, which is what it's going to be based off of in the future. But that doesn't matter, guys, because that's not always going to be the case. Bitcoin is going to continue rallying. Bitcoin is going to go back to all-time high and beyond, and Bitcoin is going to have a bright future. I think we all agree on that, or we wouldn't still be here. So as we move on into 2020, guys, let's stop planning for what we want to do this year. Let's stop planning for what we want to accomplish this month or where we want Bitcoin to be at the end of this week. Let's start planning for where we want Bitcoin to be, or where we want ourselves to be, where we want the world to be 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Broaden your horizon, lengthen your time frames. Realize that you need to overestimate how long something is going to take, because if you do, and you put the work in based on a 10-year time frame, you'd be surprised because that thing that you're working on, and instead of expecting it to get here next year, you thought it was going to get here in 10 years, it might actually get here in a year. It's insane how fast things can change, but you also need to be a little bit tactically pessimistic and assume that things aren't going to go quite as well as you think they're going to. Same thing is true for Bitcoin, guys. It all goes back to that 8-letter word, which is patience, guys. Patience is a virtue, and patience will make you wealthy and rich and successful beyond your wildest dreams if that is what you want. That's not even really what I want out of life, but it will help with any goal you have. So guys, with that said, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. Before we go, I do want to mention CT2A because it is on sale for the next 10 days. Christmas is coming around, and if you want to give yourself an early Christmas present by teaching yourself cryptocurrency technical analysis, because a bounce is coming eventually, and when it does, there's going to be massive profits on the table. There's massive profits on the table right now. One of the people in our Discord server had a 560% trade that they just posted from BitMEX a couple days ago. There's plenty of money to be made in this market right now, guys. It's actually ridiculous. If you want to learn how to do that kind of stuff, join the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy. The link is down below. There's 34 videos that's going to teach you everything we talk about in these videos every day here on YouTube in a concise, well-structured format that will deliver and download all of that information into your brain so that you are ready to go and work in these markets professionally and full-time. I can't guarantee your results because unfortunately I don't know every single one of you personally, but I can tell you this, it's a high quality product that over 1,000 people have enjoyed so far. There's a 14-day money back refund guarantee. If you don't enjoy the product, just simply shoot me an email and I will give you your money back if you get to me within a timely manner, like I said. And just remember guys, no matter what you do, your education is very important, whether it's through CT2A or not. Always keep learning. He who thinks he is done learning is wrong, but he is most certainly done progressing. But anyway, guys, that is pretty much going to wrap it up for today's video. If you did enjoy today's video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate it. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap it up for today. I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching as always, though. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.